Awesome. It's very nice to see you all this morning. I know that we're still in vacay, but guess what? You guys are getting over with your hours for technology. And this is way better than, rushing it through the whole year, trying to get all those hours put in. But as a technology specialist, with myself and Carmen McKinnon, she is here with me. She's my facilitator for today. She's going to help me out. And she's going to have the same training in the afternoon. So if you guys still have some questions or anything, you might want to go ahead and register for her training as well, just in case you want to go back. We will provide you with the recording of this, so that way you can go ahead and have all that information. Towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to have a Google form, so that way you can put in your name and your email, so that way we can make sure that everybody gets the presentation, okay? On the side of our chat, there is the link to our presentation. If you want to follow along and make a copy of it, there's going to have some active links in there and everything, so you guys can go ahead and have that. I'll go ahead and begin with, let me go ahead and present now. So that way you can go ahead and have the code, so you guys can go ahead and register for that. If you have any questions, Carmen you can go ahead and write them down on the chat on the side, and Carmen will let me know. She can help me address those questions that you guys may have. Okay, like I said, this is the same link that I provided for you guys on the side of the chat, so that way you can go ahead and follow along. The second slide right here, we have the remote sign-in. And what we're going to be talking about today is going to be about formative assessments for student engagement. We're going to have a quick little overview of Kahoot, quizzes, and GimKit. This training will provide different apps, websites that can be used in the class or online. We're going to be checking for understanding with Engage game-like assessments. Okay, I'll give you some time to go ahead and see if you can go ahead and go in and do that remote sign-in. If not, we can always go back into it and try it one more time, because I believe you have to have a certain amount of time before you can actually do the remote sign-in. Okay, you can always go, like if you're following along on the slides, you can always go back into my second slide and get that. If not, Carmen will go ahead and copy and paste this on the side of the chat if you guys need it, okay? We're gonna go ahead and start off with what is formative assessments. Remember, what formative assessment is all about is for checking for understanding in an effective way in order to guide instruction. As a teacher, I was teaching kinder for a while. And then what happens with me whenever they would tell me formative assessments, I would think, oh, I need to test my kids, and I would grade them. But I wasn't really too sure what formative assessment was for them. Now that I've been researching a little bit more about this, I noticed that formative assessments is just for me to find out exactly where my kids stand in order for me to accommodate them with my instruction. So I can see what part they're weaker in, so that way I can emphasize on that, and what part they're very strong at, so I know that I don't spend too much time with that. Formative assessments can take many different types of forms, but the bottom line, it is used to provide students with the opportunity to practice those skills or test knowledge in a low stake or ungraded activity. What that means is that usually when you're doing a formative assessment, it's mostly when you provide feedback for the students and saying, okay, we need to work on this. Let's go ahead and see where I can help you with this. So you cannot, it's not necessarily giving them a full grade on this, but it is a teacher's responsibility to go in there and see, okay, all my kids are in this one. And this also helps you form your groups. You can see exactly what groups are missing those skills. So that helps you a little bit better to do that. There's formative assessments that are used to inform, to not punish. It is used to collect important data to get students to realize that they need to pay attention or to work a little harder. That's where you come in also to give them a little bit more of motivation in order for them to say, hey, you know what, you're very close. Let's get you over this. Teachers should not use formative assessments as a gotcha quiz for students. And believe me, I've been guilty, because it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to quiz you and I'm going to see how much, ¿qué no hiciste caso? So you go ahead and the kids feel a little intimidated when it comes to a quiz, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't know any of this. So when they feel something like that, it's usually because they're not prepared or they misunderstood somewhere along the way. And as a teacher, you're going to use formative assessments in order for them to feel a little bit more comfortable and say, hey, you know what, I need help with this. We have a lot of students that are pretty shy. So when it comes down to that, this is a good idea, a good platform for us to say, hey, you know what, he doesn't come to me, or they don't come to me and they don't tell me exactly what they're missing or what they don't understand. But this is a good assessment that can give us an idea exactly where our students are at the moment. For Google, for formative assessment, I created a little Google classroom, and if you can see the code here, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go ahead and go to the stream. And like I said, here is the form. The only reason I'm showing you about this one is because I want you to see, especially for the for second and up, this is usually something very, very for as a teacher, for me, I'm very organized. I like to keep all my stuff together. And this is a way to keep all your things together, like all your forms, all your formative like all your Google Forms, your formative assessments, your assignments, any type of things that you want, any type of materials that you want your kids to use. And they can always go back and they can always get all that material that you're posting here. And it's just one centralized Google Classroom instead of having a little bit everywhere. So you can actually bring everything together and have everything centralized for your students. I know that pre-K3 and pre-K4, they don't have emails, but I've heard that they're going to go ahead and provide emails so that way they can go ahead and start using Google Classroom. But I am not sure exactly when they're going to activate those emails for the little ones. But I know that from kinder on up, they do have emails. Just go ahead and get to with your DLS, and they can go ahead and help you out on how to do that. If not, we can go ahead and get somebody to help us reset their accounts and everything like that. At the beginning of the year, it is very important for us to have those AUPs active in order for them to have their accounts activated. If those are not active within our Skyward, then our accounts are not activated for those students' emails. So that is very important as well. Okay, if you want to go ahead and join this Google Classroom, you're more than welcome. So that way you can go ahead and have some ideas on how to integrate those assessments and everything within here. Also, since we're doing a little bit of remote learning and all that stuff, it keeps tabs on what students have completed that quiz, what students have not completed that test. So it gives you a little bit more leisure on who is missing and who's missing a little bit more of this or that. Okay. So on the types of formative assessments, we have different games and we have activities. It not only necessarily has to be games, but there's also activities that are that can be type of formative assessments. What we're going to cover today, we're going to cover Kahoot. Everybody knows Kahoot because I've been using it since a very long time. We have quizzes, we have GimKit, we have Google Forms, we have Nearpod, and we have other resources, which include Google Classroom, Flipgrid, and Wakelet. Those are the ones that I'm going to go ahead and cover with you today. As of right now, do we have any questions or anything like that? Everyone's good? Okay. If I'm going a little too fast, please let me know. That way I can go ahead and slow it down for you guys. Okay, Kahoot. Everybody knows what Kahoot is because everybody has used it at one point or another within their classroom. Kahoot is an in-class, at-home, or self-paced. On the tabs for Kahoot, I'm going to go ahead and come in here to Kahoot. Okay, I have already, and I'm using the free version to this. If you upgrade, there is a lot of little extra things that you can actually get through Kahoot. And as like the ones that I'm going to go ahead and present, there's always a free version. But if you do go and upgrade and you have that premiums, you get a little bit extra on little things you can actually do within those programs. Okay, for example, if I come in here, as you can see, I've been using it for a while. Here on the side, you see my Kahoots. And it's changed quite a bit compared to when I was using it in the classroom. My Kahoots are over here. These are the ones that I've already done. Here is a little bit of information of what my account contains. As you can see, I have the upgrade, which means I have the free version to it. Up here, you have some tabs. You have Home, which is what you're seeing right now. You have Discover. In the Discover, here you can see pre-made Kahoot lessons or pre-made Kahoot games. Okay, so you can go ahead and go through here and you can actually look for something through here. Whatever, depending on what you're looking for, and it's gonna go ahead and pop out. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna go ahead and click on alphabet. Let me see what it gives me. So let's say I went through all of this and I'm like, okay, I like this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. When I click on it, it gives me a sample of all the questions that this quiz contains. If you see here, it gives me 26 questions, and this is targeting, the little ones. So this is, what does this fish start with? And you have it here. And if you click on the question, it gives you what the answers are. And you can do the same thing here. Now, let's say you don't want this particular question. It gives you the option also to go ahead and delete whatever questions you don't have here. And let's say you already have all the information that you want here and you want to go ahead and play this game. You can either go ahead and just play it, or you can edit, or right here you can make it your favorite Kahoot. You can share it with other teachers as well, so that way you all can be within the same grade level. You all can have the same grade as well. And you can duplicate it and you can preview it. So you can see exactly what the students are going to be working with. Okay, if you go, this is through the Discover, okay? This is where you get to do those pre-made lessons through Kahoot. If you go into Kahoot up here, it's going to give you exactly the same thing that you have on My Kahoot on the dashboard, but here it gives you more and details of what your Kahoots are. These are the ones that you have. Okay, like I said, you can go ahead and play them here. If I click on play on this one, it's going to you're going to teach. This is a brand new one because this one was in here before. And now you have the self-paced one. The teach is your life one. Now that's what's considered. This is the life game that you're going to choose. Now, if you put self-paced, this is something that you can actually assign to your kids. Okay, you can put a timer on. You can put the date that is going to be completed before, and then you have randomized, so that way the answers don't, the questions are not placed in the same order for everyone. You can give a nickname generator here, so they can put just a nickname through there. And once it is there, you can just go ahead and click create. And this is for your remote learners. Okay, right here, you have your summary for this report. It gives you a quick report on this. How many players do you have? When you click on players, it's going to give you all the players that have already done this. And of course, you have your questions here, which means which ones have been answered and which ones were answered correctly and which ones were not answered correctly. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here into my Kahoots. Right here, you can go ahead and when you click on your different tabs that you have here on the side, these are things that you can actually do here, and you can organize them so that you can organize them like per grade level or per teacher or per subject, depending on what you want. Here, you're going to go ahead and click on your favorites. Whatever you have favorites, as you can see, I have already tagged some favorites here. So these are my favorites, so which means that I can just go into my favorites and go ahead and play with these. You'll not find them in your Kahoot because you actually brought them down from someone else. If someone shared something with you, you can go ahead and share it with me, and this is where you're going to find your Kahoots that was shared with you. If you have a draft, something that you've started but haven't finished yet, and you want to go back and you want to finish it later on, you can go ahead and go into your draft, and this is where this is where you're going to find them. If you click up here on reports, it's going to give you a report for this is going to give you the reports for everything. Okay, for example, right here, I have 22. These are the number of players, 22. And what kind of game was it? It was a live mode. So if I click on it, it's going to give me a report on it. Let me see. It's going to take a little while. Okay, it says here difficult questions. It says what part of a plant, which means this was a difficult question for my students. So this is okay, and then we have the players, we have the questions, and the time that it took. Okay, you can also see view the podium, which means who was the first one at that particular one. Okay, which students didn't finish and what students need help. So this is pretty neat. You can go, that's your summary right here. We have your players and we have the students' names here. And then we have questions. These are the questions, and you get to see exactly which questions were answered at 100%, which parts were not answered, and things like that. So it gives you, you can also receive feedback from other players and things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and go back. Another thing that I like here, you can also download, I'm sorry, this you can if you click on the three little dots up here where it says report options, you get to download your report, you get to print it, or you can view the Kahoot, or you can just delete it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and click on my groups here. This is something new that it has because this wasn't here before. And it says, how do you do the groups? You can either go to you can go through the intro, and it gives you a little intro here, so that way you can go ahead and see what it's about. And if you can see here, it says groups, create a group of educators teaching a specific subject or grade. So you can put groups together. You can just put the teachers together. Okay, these are just for educators. Right here it says invite educators to share relevant, ready to play Kahoot for each other to host. Instead of just sending the link, you can actually do your groups, and everybody can be part of your group here, and they can go ahead and get the same Kahoots. Okay, if I'm the person inviting someone, I'm gonna have full control of that group. Okay, if somebody invites you, they have control of that. So you're able to delete or remove anybody from here. This is a sample group that I had done. If I click on it, you're gonna see what Kahoot I actually shared with them. And these are my shared contents. These are my members. So I added some members here that are still pending, which I am the admin here. And then I added myself as a different email. So if you see you have other ones that are pending here, you can either just resend an invite or you can just remove them. Okay, so for example, I'm a member here at the bottom. This is mine. I'm gonna go ahead and click delete, and that member is no longer being able to show my contents. Your group settings here, you can actually do, you can name your group. For example, if you're kinder or you're reading, if you're kinder or reading, you can go ahead and put your reading, like reading groups or things like that. And here on the description, you get to put a kind of description that you have. Like, what is this group all about? Okay, now if you want to create your own Kahoot, right here in the corner, you have create. And you're going to create a new Kahoot. You either have, this is create, you can either create and teach an interactive lesson. You can teach with slides. You can have a formative assessment. So this is something that it's new to us too. All of this, before it just gave you like only 2 options of Kahoot. So now they gave you a little bit more leeway here. You can do the practice spelling and adjectives for puzzles. And if you scroll down a little bit more, it gives you a little bit more. It says introduce a new topic with a blind Kahoot. It gets get to know your teacher. And then, for example, since we're going to be doing a formative assessments, you can go here. It says, and it gives you something already kind of pre-made. All you do is just pop in your questions here. All you have to do is replace a simple introductory question, and then you just pick your correct answer. And over here it says image reveal. You can do the original, or you can do it like little by little. You can do just a little bit, so that way they can get kind of a little bit of clues as soon as once they start playing, it starts revealing a little bit of if you want to give them a little bit of clues of what it's about, you can go ahead and do that. And of course, it gives you a little bit, just gives you several ways to do this image right here. You can do multiple select, which means you can have multiple answers to this, or a single select, which means it's only going to be one of these. Right here, it just gives you the template as well. It's already, everything's already here, and then you can do a question bank. You can add more questions. And now this is something, this is for the premium ones. If you do have the premium for Kahoot, it gives you the option to import any kind of slides that you have. So this is also something new that you have. Okay, let me go ahead and on the settings here, it says Kahoot for formative assessments. On settings, it gives you the option to change your title, do a little description on it. You get to save it exactly where you want it. Do you want it off or on? You can do a YouTube link here, visibility only for you or for everyone. You can do, now you can actually choose a different type of Kahoot song or music that you have here. You can change the language as well, and you can change the cover image. Once it's done, you can go ahead and click done. Let me go back. Okay, if you notice that I didn't actually finish my Kahoot or my formative assessment Kahoot, if you notice, I'm here down in draft and it says new, which means I have a new little draft right here. So this is something that I have already. If I go into my Kahoot, you're not going to see it here because it's still not completed. Once I'm done, then I probably will end up seeing it up here on my Kahoot, or you can actually just click on the star. Once you click on the star, you go into your favorites, and you will see it up here in your favorites as well.
Okay, Lily.
Yes.
In regards to students or inviting students, they want you to review that one more time.
Okay. If I'm going to go ahead and click on play on one of these, let's say I'm going to go ahead and play on this one for verbs. If I click play, you can assign it as a self-paced. Once I do here, it's going to give me, only, it ends in 3 days. You can see the challenge here. Oh, let me go back. Hold on. Okay, once you're here, we're going to go ahead and create here a new one, and it's going to give you the time, the questions, and once you have all of the information that you have, you click on create. And these are for the self-paced ones, okay? On this one, oh gosh, sorry, I put it on remind. Once you're doing here, you can always share it in other ways. You can go ahead and click on share to Google Drive. Once I do that, it's going to open a little window right here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick the class or the classes that I have here. I have my formative assessment. I'm going to create it as an assignment, and I'm going to click go. And I'm going to just put a title, Kahoot quiz, and then you can go ahead and do that. Pick the students that you want to assign them to. It's going to be all of them. You can also pick the topic that you have. You can create a topic, and I'm going to put Kahoot gains, and you can put a due date on this, so that way the kids can know exactly when those are due, and then just click assign. And it takes a little while, so it can go ahead and generate all of that. And then it says view. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to go back into my Google Class over here.
Awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and refresh on my Google Classwork. If you can see, my topic's here and my Kahoot is here. So all the kids have to do is go into one place, which is your Google Classroom, and just click here, and they will go into the game itself for the self-paced. You don't need the code. You don't need anything like that because it's already embedded within what you already shared with the kids. Okay. Also, you can either also copy the URL, and if you do have a Google site, you can put it within a Google site and make sure that you just put it there. If you notice, it already has I'm going to go ahead and copy here, and I'm going to open it another tab, and I'm going to go ahead and take you there, and it'll load completely right off the bat. Okay, because it's already embedded within the code as well.
Thank you.
This is the way you share it. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I ended up closing my Kahoot. Sorry, guys. Let me go back into my Kahoots over here. If you already have a Kahoot that's there and you want to go ahead and not redo it, but kind of change the questions to it, just go ahead and click on edit, and it gives you the option to edit the Kahoot as well. I'm gonna go back. Now, I already showed you exactly how to do it within the Google Classroom. If I click on play and I click on teach, remember, this is the live game that we have. You can either pick the classic or you can do the team mode. If you're doing the classic, that means that they have the one-to-one devices, which means they are going to be doing it at home. The one thing is that when you're doing a Google Meet, the kids are gonna have to learn how to open a second tab in order for them to go ahead and do that quiz online. Now, if they have two devices, they can have the laptop on and a mobile device, either an iPad or anything like that. They can go ahead and use the other device as well. Excuse me. So you have here the two options. It's a one-to-one device or a team mode. I used to do the team mode when I was a teacher, just because since I was very limited with iPads in my classroom. I would do one table. Since I did kinder, I would group them by either the tables or anything like that. So I would put one iPad within one table, and they would all take turns answering those questions. I just made sure that they had enough questions, enough for everyone to go around. So once you pick everything, you can just go ahead and click on classic. Of course, it's gonna give you the pin as it usually does. And as soon as they start logging in, you can start seeing the players come down here as well. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this. And that's how you end up doing either way. Either you do the team or you do the classic, or you can put it up through the Google Classroom. Do we have any questions so far? Are we good? Yes? Okay, perfect. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna show you, and this is the way you end up doing your Kahoot through the assessments, okay? We went over to how to create your own, what the Discover tab is, what Kahoot, the reports. The groups is only for teachers, not students. You can teach for the virtual classroom, and you can assign for self-paced learning, and of course your report. If you want to know what the difference between the paid and the basic version is, like I said, I usually have the basic version. I don't want to pay for it, but this right now they have a premium, which is the $6. And you can actually, if I was to get something like this, I usually end up paying for the whole year, so I don't have to worry about it. You also have the $6, and these are just for teachers. You can upgrade, and it's up to you. I usually just do the basic, but if you want a little bit more, it's going to tell you exactly what other things you can do within the basic. I just wanted to give you the difference on what the pricing is and stuff like that with this. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go over quizzes. Quizzes also is an in-class, at-home, or self-paced. You're going to find, in these tabs, we're going to go over onto how to find a quiz, create a quiz, my quizzes, the reports, the classes, and the type of game modes that they have. Okay, let me go ahead and go into my quizzes. This is what quizzes looks like. Quizzes, it's something very similar to Kahoot. Just this one gives you a little bit of a little different things. What it does is that it gives you like little memes or memes or memes, so that way they can get the kids a little bit more excited, or it makes it a little bit more fun for them. Kahoot is more as a oh, hurry up, let's get to it. So on quizzes, it's going to be a little bit different. If you're going to find a quiz, the moment that you log in, it's going to give you something like this. Okay, let me go ahead and let me refresh this for you. Usually when I do log in, I log in as a Google account, and I use my Laredo ISD Google account. Okay, now if you're looking for a quiz, this is the dashboard. This is what you're going to see first, and it says, what will you teach today? You can search any topic here at the bottom. It gives you here it says recommended for you, educator professional development, and you can go through here, or you can get, and it changes it by the topic up here. The only thing is that it doesn't give you so much of an option to kind of like break it down through like grade levels and things like that. It's a little iffy on this one. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and put something for technology, and let me see what it gives me. So the first one, if I click on it, let me go back real quick. I'm sorry. If I come to these, just by hovering over them, it's going to give me a sample of the questions that they have here at the bottom. Okay, so you can, if you like everything that's here, you can go ahead and play it. Let's say we can continue looking down and say, okay, look, you know what, I like this one. And you can also edit any of the ones that you have here. Up here, it gives you options. You have start a multiplayer game. You can either click it, you can play it live, you can assign, or they can practice before the actual test. Okay, so when you click live here, it gives you a little bit more options here. It says we're gonna either continue, so you can play live, and it gives you options here. They can do it as a team, as a classic, or they can test. Okay, here is assigned to what class. We can, if you already have classes here, this is, I actually have this one connected to my, well, I had this one connected to my Google Class, just that I cleared out everything, so it's not gonna pop up for me right now. Right here, you can manage classes. If you can see, these are connected to my Google. If I click on manage classes, you're gonna have your classes here. You can send an invite for them, and they will get invites here. Okay, or you can create a class. Let's go ahead and update Google Classes. Let me see what it gives me. You actually have to give it permission in order for them to go ahead and allow you. You see, now that I updated my classes, it gives me now my formative assessment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on formative assessment, and I'm going to click save. And as you can see, I have my formative assessments here already. Now I'm going to go back into find my quiz. Actually, I had it up here. Okay, I have it up here. Now I'm going to select a class that I wanted to go into. And now you can see my formative assessments here. And then you can put a title here. It gives you a description option. You can do a little description here. You click next, and it's going to be here. You can click here to schedule or rename or schedule name. Click here to name or schedule this assignment. Okay, let's go ahead and go down to the next settings here at the bottom. Student attempts. You can have them attempted, unlimited, or you can have several attempts here. You can name the factory. Students can only use fun quizzes generated names. So you can actually just have them have only the names that it generates. It says show the answers in a game. Do you want them to see the answers if they get it right or wrong? You can actually toggle it off and on. So that way it gives you a lot of little options here on how you want the students to see it. The short answer post game allows students to review a question and answer at the end. And then gameplay settings, the power-ups. Students can get bonus points and other fun abilities. Here it gives you a little bit more information on that. You can turn it off and on. You can put a timer. You can show who's leading and who's towards the end, or like who's catching up. Who's catching up and everything. You can shuffle the questions for the students not to be able to copy off each other. This works really, really well, especially if you're doing it in the classroom. You can shuffle answer options, so that way they can have the same question, but the answers are going to be different. So let's say if one student gets the answer on the top, the other student might get the answer in the middle or at the bottom. So the answers get shuffled around. You have the redemption question, allows students to reattempt a few incorrect questions, which means it gives them a little bit more time to kind of go back and review those questions and say, hey, you know what? I got it wrong, but I know what it is. So it kind of goes back and gives them that second chance. Because remember, formative assessments is more about the learning aspect and where they're at and where they stand, instead of kind of saying, hey, you know what? You did wrong and you got a 0 and that's it. You don't know anything. It's like, no, you have that chance to allow them to go back and see where they're weakest at. Now, if you really want to see a true picture of where they are the weakest at, and you don't want to do the redemption, all you have to do is turn it off. And that's how you're going to be able to kind of see, okay, the first time, this is what you take. This is how you get it. I want to see exactly where you stand instead of going back and re-answering those questions. You can show the funny pictures after each question. And you can either select random, my fellow kids. So it gives you several options here on what you want them to see. And then once you're done, you can either click assign your game and it will be ready. You can go back up here. Let's go ahead and click here to assign. It gives you the same thing. You can edit here. You can do the quizzes and it's going to give you the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and click here. We're going to go back up and we're going to assign. So this is to play the live. This is to play here. The students go here. They have to accept a game invite and then you just click start once everybody is here. Okay, let me go ahead and go back here. Let me go back one more time. Now, if you want to assign this, because we already went through the live session, we're going to assign it. Here, it gives you when they should have completed it. So it gives you the option of picking a date, the time. So right now you have it at a day and 8 minutes. It gives you the same game settings here as it did before. Okay, you can select, again, you can select the classroom that you're going to assign it to. And then we can click assign. Okay, this is where you're going to, once you're here, you're going to your reports. Here in the reports, it gives you more information. Here, once you just want your kids like to end for the deadline, you can end the game here. Okay, as you can see, this one's assigned already. Okay, what I like about quizzes is that it gives you flashcards as well. You can view the quiz, you can give you flashcards. Whatever you have here, it's going to give you some flashcards to practice. Depending on what your grade is or anything like that, towards the end, it gives you flashcards. If you click start, it gives you what are the documents that you can place on Google Drive stored in the cloud. Okay, or they can mark it to whether it needs to be reviewed or they actually got it. Okay, what does the internet prefix www stand for? And they want to know the answer. The World Wide Web. So there's something like this and those are going to be, those questions come out from what your quizzes is all about. Whatever you have on your quizzes, that's where it's going to, those are the flashcards that you're going to get. Okay, so we went through the, let me go back. Okay, these are your, and then you can have the solo practice as well. Okay, if you come back over here to the side, we did the find our quiz. Now, if you're gonna create your own, you have it here. And you can do a little collection so you can know exactly where, for example, if you have math or you have reading, you can create your collections and you can start moving them over here on this side. So that way they can all be in one particular place. Now, if you want to create your own quiz, up here, if you click on the very top, you're going to click create a new quiz. You're going to name it. You can do the relevant classes depending on what you're doing. And then you're going to go ahead and click next. Oh, click next. And then it gives you the option. What are you going to do for the, are you going to do multiple choice, checkbox, fill in the blank, open-ended, or a poll? I'm going to go ahead and click on multiple choice. And then you enter your sample question here. And then you put answer 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can add answers as well. You can add more here if you want. You see it continues adding. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off. If you click on right here, it's going to be, you can add a math equation to it. You can also add images. You can add an image or an audio. So let's say you can, for the students that are a little bit, if you go ahead and click on audio, you can upload it or you can record something for 10 seconds. If I click here, it's going to start my recording. I'm going to go ahead and allow it. And here it says sample question here. We're going to stop it. It allows you to hear. Allow it. And here it says sample question here. And then you like what you hear, you can go ahead and click save. If I click on it again, it's not going to allow you. It's only going to give you the option either to an audio or to or to an image. So we're going to go ahead and cancel. Here you can add an image, not an audio, but you can add the image here. Here you can just go ahead and click here. And if you have something already on your desktop, let me see if I have. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. I'm going to click add, and it's going to add, instead of an actual wording, you can go ahead and add a picture to it. So the kids can, this is really good, especially for the little ones, because you can put an apple here and click apple. And then you can put the letter A, the letter B, the letter C, the letter D, and you can tell them, okay, what letter does this begin with? Apple. So they can pick the correct one. So this is pretty neat, especially for the little ones. Here you can time them. You can give them some time. You can have it anywhere between 5 seconds or 15 minutes, depending on where you want that. So once you do that, you can actually also, let me go ahead and click my correct one. You can actually tag your standards here. So here you just go down all the way to Texas, and then you're going to select your grade level, and then you're going to select the topic that you're doing, mathematics, or you can do whatever you're doing in reading language arts, and you're going to add your standards. And here it breaks them down for you. So let's say you're doing your standards for a particular one. You can come in here and you can start selecting the standards. So that way it's a lot easier for you to understand, or for you to understand like where your students are weakest at, especially depending on the standards that you're teaching or the skills that you're teaching for that time. We're going to go ahead and click on save. And you have everything here. So now what we're going to do, now that we're ready and we're good to go on this. Okay, before I continue, let me go ahead. Are we good? Everybody's doing okay?
We had a question in regards to if you could repeat how to save it under Google Classroom. So I just kind of gave the steps that when you go to your account, on the left, you'll see classes, and then from there. I think if you just show it again really quickly.
Okay, for the quizzes?
Yeah, for quizzes.
Okay, let me go ahead and finish up with this one.
Okay.
I'm going to click over here on done. You can add a title or an image here. And then English, selected grades. I'm going to put kinder. I'm just going to public for everybody, and I'm just going to save it. Okay, right here, when you're at this moment, and this is the quiz that you're going to do, you're going to click on, let's say you're going to assign it. You click assign. Here, you're going to go ahead and click, once you're in the assign area to it, you're going to click on this little bar right here that says assign, and it's going to give you all your classes that are here. For example, I click on my formative assessment. I'm going to give it a title, sample 2. I'm going to click next. And once you do that, you can go ahead and just assign this. And it should be going over to let me go ahead and refresh this so that way we can go back in there. If you notice, these are the ones, the technology, the ones that I've been putting up here. These are the ones that I've been assigning. Okay, that's how you end up assigning. Now, if you want me to go back and show you exactly how to link those, let me go ahead and go back and show you exactly how to link any of these quizzes. Okay, once I click assign, if I'm here, we can go let me go ahead and cancel out. Okay, right here where I'm on my quizzes, let's say I want to go ahead and click on this one, and I'm going to assign it. But once you're here on the settings for this particular quiz that you selected, and you don't see, and you click here where it says assign to a class, that's optional. You don't have to assign it to a class. But like I said, it's better if you have everything centralized under one place. Okay, once you click assign and you see all of your Google Classrooms here, but you do not see you don't see the one that you want to assign it to, you click on manage classes up here. It will pop up another window. And in order for you to make sure that you see it here, we're going to update Google Classes. On mine, it's going to to give me the ones that I already have, and you just kind of select the ones that you want in there. Here, I want to take off these, and I just want to have that one. We can just click save. And if you don't have it linked already, what can happen is that what's going to happen, you're going to go ahead and it's going to ask for permission to get into your LISD account. Make sure that you do accept, because if you don't, it's not going to populate that particular class. It's not going to give you anything there. Okay, so just make sure that you do assign it. Okay, as you can see, I have mine here, and I have the students that have already joined my class. So these are the kids that I'm going to be able to assign it. So I go ahead and go back into my quiz. I click select again, and I'm going to pick the one that I have. That's the one that actually I'm the one that needs it. So I click next, and once I do that, you're going to be able to see where it's going. It's going to go into formative assessments. And so when you go into your Google Classroom, it should generate up here. Once you have it up here, you can go ahead and create your topic here. And once you do that, if you notice where did it go? Okay, it's right here. Once you have it up here, all you're gonna have to do is come down, and you see my sample 2 already came up. And I'm gonna bring them down. I'm just gonna drag them down to where they belong. Quizzes doesn't give you the option to give it into a topic. It just assigns it. When it does that, it's not going to go under any kind of topic. It's just going to go up here like the way I had it before. Let me see if it's going to allow me to get it out.
Create a topic beforehand.
Huh?
You want to create a topic beforehand so then you can just start organizing. Okay.
Yes, I think it's a lot easier for you to do that, especially if you're doing it either under themes or you're doing it under a specific subject or things like that. So I know that this doesn't give you the option to go, if I click here to manage the assignment, it doesn't give you like exactly, like it can give you the title to it and the description, but it doesn't allow you to put it into a specific topic. If you click on edit here, you can actually do the when should I start this game? They can start now, or you can assign it a particular date. And then after that, you just click next, and it generates here. The only thing, like I said, it doesn't organize it into a specific topic, but you can always go into your Google Classroom and you can organize it by dragging and dropping to wherever you need it through the topic. Are we good? Any questions? No? Okay.
Ms. Gutierrez.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. I have never really used quizzes. So my question is, when you were on that screen that showed the 2 different options, the one that says assign HW and the other icon, I don't remember what it said. Can you go back to that, please?
Yes. It gives you play live.
Okay, the one that says play live. My question is, let's say I wanted to use this with my kids, and before I assign it, I want to make sure that we've done it together several times so that they know how to do it at home by themselves. Is there a way for me to click play live during presentation mode, and I click on the answers and they participate in the Google Meet, or it doesn't let me do that?
They can, just that you have to make sure that they have a second device for it. If they don't, they can always you can always show them to open a new tab. And that way they can, for example, if I go ahead and click live, and we're going to do it as a classic, you see how it gives you a link here. Okay, so what you can do is you can tell the kids that when you have it through here, all they have to do is open a new tab on the top for the plus sign, and they're going to go ahead and put this up here. And they're going to do, once they click on a new tab, they're going to go ahead and start the game. Let me go ahead and turn off. Well, you can have the sound effects. You can click start, and it's going to start with the or you can share it. You can share this through a reminder or anything like this, so that way they can just click on it and it'll automatically open up through either their phone or things like that. So depending on how you want to use it, but you do have to show them how to use the toggles up here with the extra tabs and things like that, so that way they can actually play with this within your Google Meets. Because right now we're doing a Google Meet and I'm showing you how to play this game. So when I'm here, as you can see, you're waiting for other kids to join and stuff, you know, things like that. So you have other ways to do it, you know, but they have to, like I said, you have to teach them how to open other tabs, and you can play it live with them. I don't know. Did I answer your question? Do you have any other questions, Ms. Monsiváis?
Yes, now I understand. I just wanted to know if there was a way of them not playing live, me doing it so they can see what's going to happen without them opening a tab, without them anything. Like, I just wanted to present it so that I can say, look, boys and girls, this is what you're going to do. This is what it looks like. This is where you click, and so on. But without them, like, I wanted me to click the answers, me to be the student modeling how to do all those steps. That way, if I assign it through Google Classroom and they open it, they already know it's familiar. We did this together. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. If you guys ever need, like, to add a student or anything like that, you can always go through another teacher instead of adding them. I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Google Classroom. And the people, in order to add your colleagues up here, if you notice, these are teachers right here. So you can actually add another teacher on one of your classes, and you can have them you know, accept those invites, and you can go ahead and go in there and or your other teacher or your colleagues can work together, where you can show them, you know, on their side as a student and yourself as a teacher, because you cannot add yourself as a teacher and a student at the same time. So whenever I do go into my classroom, I'm not going to be able to see exactly what the students see, just because I'm a teacher and I cannot create those double ones. I've tried, and I've asked too if I can go ahead and have like a student created one, and they told me that they couldn't do that for me. So what I do, I collaborate with other DLSs, or I collaborate with other teachers and tell them, can I add you as a teacher, so that way we can go ahead and see exactly what the students see. So whenever you do add someone as a student, you know, that is part of your group, you're able to see both the teacher view and you're able to see the student view. So that kind of helps each other out. So I don't know if you can collaborate with anyone in your grade level so you can see both sides to it as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, this is for quizzes. Do we have any questions for quizzes? Are we good? Okay, remember, if you run into any kind of issues or you need help with anything, please feel free to reach out, and I'm here to go ahead and help you out with it, okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and go into something called GimKit. This one's very, very neat to me as well. I really never used the GimKit before, and what this is all about, it's very similar. It is very similar to Kahoot and to quizzes and things like that. It just gives you many different options. On this one's an online game, and this one was actually created by high school students. With this one, the questions are individually on their own screen. The students, and there's a little synopsis on the top of what this GimKit is all about. The only thing is that instead of just adding points to it, the kids earn what is called cash. And it's they start off with $3 per question, and you get to control a little bit of that. They also lose money as they accumulate. They also lose money if they get wrong answers. So as they accumulate those virtual points or those virtual money, they can shop and upgrade as much as the ability of what they've earned per question. Or you can, as a teacher, you have that ability to give them more, and you have the ability to take away more. Okay, so they can also buy power-ups, which means they can actually do. And this is more like a video game kind of sense, to where let's say I want to win and I want to earn more points, and I want my opponent to lose points. So they have that option to kind of like say, okay, I'm going to take away some of their points and things like that. That's what GimKit is all about. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what GimKit is here. If you see, once you, like I said, this is the free version to it. So I have not purchased any of this stuff, and I'm very good about purchasing things in order for me to see what extra stuff they have in there. But I know that a lot of teachers don't purchase their forms because I can just imagine how much all of this can get accumulated. So I'm going through the free versions in order for you guys to see both versions of it. Well, at least one version of it, the free version to it. Okay, here on the game kit, you have the different tabs here. You have the kids, you have the assignments, you have your classes, your news, your kid collab, and you have seasons. In your kids here, this is where you're going to create your kits, which means your games. If I click on new kit, you're gonna name it. I'm gonna put sample 2. Language, of course I want English. And you want your subject. Once you click here, it gives you different subject areas here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put technology, and I'm gonna click next. Here it allows you to put an image to it. So I'm gonna put technology, and I'm gonna search it, and I'm gonna put this one, the first one. Right here, you can add questions. You can create flashcards. I'm gonna go ahead and add a question. Sample question here. You can add a photo to it. Okay. I put question. I'm gonna click on this one. You can click audio. Now the audio, this is where I say when it comes down to the free one, it gives you very limited choices. When you do the little packages that they have here, you get a little bit more on this one. If you want to do the audio, for the audio questions, you go through the Pro or the Pro Pass, which is billed either monthly or annually. So if you don't have the free if you have the free version to it, it's going like it. And if you want the audio, you have to purchase this. Right here, it says answer 1, answer 2, answer 3, answer 4. Now, if this is not the correct one, and this is usually by default, if you know that this is not correct, you just click on it, and an X comes out, and you click on it again, and you get to choose the right one. Right here, you get to show the symbols for your keyboard. You get to do currency. You get to do math symbols. And these are just the symbols that you have originally. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Or you can, let me see. If I want an image, I just click on photo, and I just add. I search for my photo. I put number 1. Doesn't give me anything. And if I do that, I can just click it, and it gives me images. Once I'm done, I click add, and my question comes up here. Okay, if you want to create flashcards, you click on flashcards. You can either import them, or you can go ahead and start creating here. The question is sample 1, and your answer is 1. You can also do the photo, but again, if you're gonna add the audio, you need to purchase it. But if you do the picture, you can do the picture for it, and it gives you the text here. So I'm gonna put here sample 2, okay, sample 2, sample 3, sample 4, 2, 3, 4. Just so I can go ahead and create something. So I click create. And if you notice, I have multiple things. I have my sample question, and I have my flashcards up here. Once I'm done, or you can also add from your bank, from the question bank. If you click here, you can answer, you can search math. And right here, if you click on him, it gives you other questions here. So let's say I want this one. We can just click on the plus sign, and guess where it comes out? It comes out up here. Okay, now we can continue with Kit Collab. You can do the classic or the team mode. You can do here, when you do that, when you click on that particular one, this is the one that I was telling you about, whether it's going to be a classic one, or you can click the team mode. You can either have them timed, you can race, or all in. Here you get to change the minutes that you want them to have per question, or like before the time runs out. Multiple questions allow students to submit multiple questions for Kid Collab. What I like about this too is that you can ask the kids to create their own questions, and they can collaborate with you creating their own questions or their own quizzes. The starting cash, this is where I was telling you that you can have them start off with $100 or $3, or depending on what you want. On the handicap means that whenever they answer something incorrectly, you take away, for example, since I'm giving them so much, I can take away $50. Or if I don't want to give them so much, I can take away $5. You can allow them, you can turn it off and on to allow players to view the correct answer. You can have the music, you can do the clapping because that kind of cheers them on. You can have players can join after the game starts. You can allow them to start even though everybody else started. You can allow other kids to join in as they're coming in. Or if you want, you can also toggle it off, which means the students that join at that moment in time, that is it. No other student can join in. So you can depend on what you want them to do. Do you want the shop option? Do you want them to power up? Do you want to buy for them to, do the themes and things like that? These are the stuff that actually gives them money to buy the themes. The themes is like different colors, different things in that. It gets to customize their games, with what they want, and that's how they spend their money. The clean power-ups, it only allows power-ups that don't hurt other players. So the power-ups, what that means is that they can take away from other players if you have it on and they get to do the power-ups. They kind of hurt the other players in the sense that they take away cash from them, or they take away, other little different things from them, so that way they can advance and they can get to where they need to get to, or earn as much money as they want. So that way they can be number one. Now, if you take it off, that means that they're only allowed to power up, they're only allowed to power up by themselves and not be able to take away points from anybody else. So it's up to you on how you want them to play with this game. Okay, once you do that, you can go ahead and click on continue. And this is going to be your game kit to play, and this is the way you enter the code. So this is where it says no questions added, which means this is where the students are going to be adding questions here. I can't do it because since I'm the one that entered the questions, that way I'm not allowed to do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and go back here. And once I'm done, I can go ahead and click on finish. And you will see it come out over here on my kids. Here you can either play it live or you can assign it. If I play live, it gives me the same options that we saw before. If I assign it for homework, here it's going to give me the due date. You can set up a due date for the students. It says pick the classes. And here it says the target cash, how much you want them to earn. Here is the max time, how much time you want them to spend. The starting cash, how much cash you want them to earn. Let's say you want them to earn 10. And the custom title, extra credit title review. So you can leave it as there. Or if you have any questions or you forget exactly what it means, excuse me, you can go ahead and click on the little question mark here, and it gives you a little bit of information of what it means. Once you fill out everything, go ahead and click on assign. And right here, when you click assign, it gives you the option to either copy the link, send it to Remind, or put it in your Google Classroom. If I'm going to do it within my Google Classroom, I'm going to go ahead and click on Google Classroom. It's going to open a little tab for me. I'm going to click on Formative Assessments. It gives me where exactly do I want to create a new assignment. And I'm going to go ahead and click Go. Once I'm here, it gives me this option here. I'm going to just name it. Right here, it gives me my topic. I'm going to go ahead and create one. and I see all the students that are going to get it. If I have a due date, I can go ahead and place it. If I only want specific students, I can just take off right here, and I can only assign specific students to get it, and these are going to be the only students that are going to get it. Now, if I click here on the assign, you can schedule it, you can save it as a draft, or you can discard it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on assign. And I'm going to go ahead and close it up. And I'm going to go in over here into my Google Classroom. I'm going to click on my classwork. Now, if I scroll down, it should have, let me refresh. If you notice, once I refresh, it comes out with the title that I just did. And right here, it's going to be the same, the one that I just did. Okay, once you do that, you can see the results here of whoever's played it, and you can reset their progress, or you can just delete it. I'm gonna go back, and right here, if you notice, if you go back over here to your kids, you can go ahead and click on the little 3 dots. You can view the reports. You can add it to a particular folder that you have, or you can just archive it and just put it away, or you can set a privacy to it. You can edit as well. If I click here to assignments, you can also do new assignments here. And it's going to be the same way that you're doing everything else, just like the way you did the quizzes and things like that. For your classes, here you can add a new class. When you click on new class, here's classes with student accounts or classes without student accounts. Usually I would do the student accounts because I know that they have their Google accounts. Now you have students without a Google account. So here you just go ahead and put the name of your class. You can pick a particular color, and you can add all your students here, and then you can just go ahead and create your class. This would be good, especially if you have like the little ones that don't have an email account. You can do it. And if you have students with accounts, you can do this. You can pick the color, and you can create it. And then you can just send this off. You can go ahead and copy it. You can go into your Google Classroom here and kind of do an assignment where the students just kind of go in and join this particular class that you have already created. And here, when you click on member on the top, it'll give you a list of all the students that have already joined. And here you can also do the kind of invites that are pending. Okay, so this is how you end up creating your classes. Right here on the news, it gives you just like little updates on what they have. The Kit Collab, like I said, the Kit Collab allows the students to create this to create the kit. After students join the game, they will submit a question to be added. You can accept or reject the questions that come in. Then you play the game of Kim Kit with the kit that the class just made. And that's the one that I was telling you. The Kit Collab is where students, you create one of these and the students enter their own questions, and you can actually have them create their own quizzes, and that quiz can go out to the rest of the kids, and they can go ahead and play this game. And as a facilitator, like they said, you can go ahead and accept those particular questions that they want, or you can just kind of say, hey, you know what, let's try a new question or things like that, and they get to create their own quiz. And for the seasons here, it says, welcome to Game Kick Season. Seasons brings the competition to a whole new level by tracking student balance over time. Students can now complete 3 ways. They can do it by game, against their classmates, against other classes. So you can either start the season, you can go ahead and start season here. Once you do that, you want to see exactly when it's going to end, and you're going to start the season here. It gives you a little bit, like right here, it gives you the option to go back and change this. Here it gives me the sample, how much they've earned, and we can start a next season, or we can delete all of them. This is a really new one for me. This one I haven't played with it a lot. I'm very I've played a lot with quizzes, and I've played a lot with Kahoot, because since I had my little ones, those are the ones that I usually concentrate myself on, because it gives me the option to actually record myself, especially for those ESL students that don't know English. I get to record it in Spanish, so that way they can have the question either in English or in Spanish. So, and since this one doesn't allow me to record, I usually never played with this one so much. But this is I like the concept where it's more of a game, like where they get to earn cash with this, and the teacher gets to either put a lot in there or take away. And there's a lot of little games that they get to. There's a lot of little things, like they change the theme to it. They can buy like little stickers and things like that. That's what I've heard about this one. If you go into your presentation and you click here, there's actually a little YouTube video. All the little icons here, it gives you a little particular video on how to use Kahoot. If you click on quizzes, it gives you here a little bit more information on quizzes. And now if I go over here to the game kit, you get to see a little video on a little tutorial that they have here. And this is what I was telling you about the Kid Collab, on how they can actually, create their own quiz based on this. Do we have any questions so far? Are we good? Yes? Okay. Let's go ahead and continue. Another one that I like about doing the formative assessments is our Google Forms. The Google Forms, there's two ways that you can go ahead and do them. You can either do them through your Google Classroom, or you can go ahead and just go in through docs.google.com/forms. And once you're here, or you can go into your little waffle and look for your forms and click on it here. And it'll take you to the same page. Once you're here, you can click on the plus sign for blank, or you can just go ahead and start working on something that you already have here. Or let's say you don't want anything that is here that belongs to you. You can click on the three little dots and you can remove it, and I'll take it away from you. I'm going to go ahead and start a new one, so that way you can see the difference on how to add it both through Google Classroom and through the forms here. I'm going to put sample quiz 1. Here you're going to go, if I click up in the title, it gives me the same title I put up here. You can put a description on it. What I like about the Google Forms, it gives you multiple, it gives you a lot of little different ways the students can answer for this. If you click on the insert image, you can do a Google search, or if you already have your images, you can upload them, or you can have the camera. You can take a picture. You can do it by URL. You can do it by photos based on what you already have. You can get it from your Google Drive, or you can do a search here. Okay, right here, once you type in your question, here, it gives you, you can either do it as a short answer, a paragraph, a multiple choice, a checkbox, a drop box. They can upload files, and you have other choices here as well, especially if you have the date and time. So if you have option 1, and right here, it gives you like little suggestions, so that way you don't have to type all the way through. So you're gonna click on at all, and it gives you all the little ones here. So if you want this question to be required, you just click on required. That means that the students cannot advance to the next question or submit the quiz unless this question is answered. Okay, now if you want to go ahead and click here where it says add a question, it's gonna just ask you to do another question here, and also gives you the option to do either a short answer. Here they get to type a short answer. They get to do a paragraph, which is a long answer. And you can do the multiple choices, so the checkbox or anything like that. I'm going to leave it as a long answer. I'm going to leave it as required. Now, I want this to be a quiz. I don't want it just to be a regular form where they just submit everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the little gear here. And here, when I click on the gear, it gives me different options. It gives me general, presentation, and quizzes. Here, it gives you the option to either have it only restricted to the Laredo ISD students. Now, especially for the little ones, if they don't have an email address for Laredo ISD, all you have to do is take this off, and it opens it up for everybody else. So here they can either do it as a presentation. You can put here, just so they can verify that they submitted the quiz. The quiz submitted, so that way they have a verification on that. You can shuffle the order of the questions, and they can show a progress bar to see exactly how many questions they have answered. You go into quizzes, you're gonna make this into a quiz. And I know that the Chromebooks are coming in, so what you can do a turn on the lock mode, which means it locks it into the specific one, and they can't move anything around, so that it's only particular to this quiz. So if you don't want them Googling anything or going back into another notes or things like that, you don't want them to do that, so you just lock it. You have the lock mode. You can release grades. You can give them a grade immediately after each submission, or they can do it manually. And then they can either see the missed questions, the correct answers, or the value points. So I'm going to leave everything the way it is, and I'm going to click Save. Once I do this, I'm going to get the answer key. It automatically gives me here for the answer key. So I'm going to put, this is going to be my answer key. So right here, it gives me answer key, and it's going to give me the correct one. I'm going to choose the correct one. Here, I want to check how many points do I want to give per question. So let's say I want to give 5 points. Just make sure it all adds up to 100 at the end. Once you're due, you click Done. I'm going to go next to the next one. You can do the answer question. How many points do I want here? I'm going to do another 5, and I'm going to click Done. So on and so forth. As long as they answered here, they're going to probably get your points here. Or if you don't want them to get the points, you can just take it off, and you can give them a response later on. And it goes back and forth to all of these questions. So every time you add a question, it's going to give you the option if you want to enter the answer key, or this particular question is going to give you 0 points. Okay, once I'm done, we're going to go ahead and click on Send. On Send, you can either share your link, and I shorten it because usually it's too long. You can embed your link. This would be especially when you do the Google Sites and things like that, or you can email them. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the share link here, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go into my Google Classroom, and right here I know that I already have a topic based on that. I'm going to create it, and I'm going to assign. I'm going to do an assignment here. Here, when I click on the add, I'm going to click on the link. I'm going to right click. I'm going to paste, and that's my link, and I'm going to click add link. And if you can see, my quiz is already here. Quiz 2. And now if I want to create something, instead of going through all of that, going in through my Google Forms, doing it there, and I want to create it based already on this, all I have to do is click on create. And I'm going to click on form. And right now it's going to go ahead and create the form. So I'm going to put here sample 2. Sample 2. Again, we're going to go ahead and click on the gear. We're going to make this a quiz. And you get to check whatever you need from here. We're going to click on save. The moment that I click on save, on change it to quiz, it gives me the answer key here. So I'm going to put question 1, and I'm going to make it a short answer. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give them points. I'm going to click done. I'm going to add another question just so we can go ahead and have 2. I'm going to make this one checkbox. You see, as it starts suggesting, so you kind of do that. I click on answer key. And let's say I want those 2, so I'm going to click on done. And then remember to put them as required, so that way they don't skip it. And they won't be able to submit their answers until all of this is answered. We're going to go ahead and click. We're going to go ahead and go back over here. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do the due date, the topic. We're gonna go ahead and go into Google Forms to the students that you want, and we're gonna click assign. Okay, let me go down into Google Forms. Where are you? Okay. Here on the Google Forms, we have quiz 1, the one I did over here on the outside. And then the sample quiz, and then I have the sample 2, which is my sample that I just did up here. This, all the students have to do is come in, click on the sample, and they get to see it. Here, they go ahead and click, and they get to do it. Okay, this is how you end up getting your particular quizzes ready. Once you do that, let me go ahead and go back here. Let's say you want to go ahead and see the grades for the students or how many students they've turned in. We click on the name of the topic here, and you get to see all the students that are in there, and you get to see how many were assigned and how many were turned in. Do we have any questions so far? Are we good? Yes?
There's a question that's some people are curious about, and I don't know if you have a better option, because the question is, are there some available that are already custom made? So one teacher asked, is there already one available for my pharmacology students? Is there one
custom made
pre-made
for
Google Forms? For Google Forms.
On Google Forms, there's a lot of stuff that is available, but you have to go out there and search for them. Some of them are through Teachers Pay Teachers, or you can do a collaboration with other teachers or with other with other teachers with the same grade level or other schools or things like that. And you guys can actually share your forms. Just make you guys, once you're here and you click on the three little dots, you're gonna add collaborators. And within the collaborators here, you can actually get you can start adding the people that are going to be editors. The editors are the ones that are going to be are helping you add questions and things like that. So that's one way that you guys can do it. I know that there's a lot of forms up there, that are already pre-made. They share them with you. You can just copy them and you just edit some of those questions. But what I really like is that I get to make my own questions and I get to reuse them for next year. Just because I get to customize it to whatever my student needs are. So that's a little bit more of more customization to my particular students. Okay, so I don't know, I haven't seen really, a place that actually gives you 100% just Google Form quizzes and things like that. But if I do come across, I'll go ahead and share it with everyone. Do we have any other question, guys?
And then one more question was, if you assign it to Google Classroom, you don't have to make a copy for each student because it's already just a template, right?
Yes, correct. Every time the student goes in, they just click it and every student gets their own copy for it. Okay, any other questions? Are we good? Okay, let me go ahead and continue on. Okay, now another way you can also do your formative assessments is through Nearpod. Nearpod is something that the district already has for us, so it's pretty neat. And I've used Nearpod before, and it's really, really nice because it also gives you a report on this. For Nearpod, what it does, you can either go once you log in, make sure that it gives you the option to either enter a username or password, or you can actually enter it through a Google. The Google sign-in. And once it asks you to put in your Google sign-in, you're going to go ahead and use the Laredo ISD one and just allow it to go ahead and go into it. So every time you go in there, just click on the Google sign-in and it kicks you in automatically. Mine is going to look a little bit different because mine is the admin side to it. So it might look a little different compared to yours. Okay, so when you're in here, this is the dashboard that you're going to have. Here at the bottom, it's going to give you all your little slides or your little presentations that you have. If you see here, I have different folders depending on where I'm putting everything. If I right click on it, if I just click on it, it gives me the option to kind of select the color that I want for that particular folder and things like that. So you can change the color folders to it. Now I want already, in this one, it does give you pre-made assessments. So if I come over here to the left-hand side, I click on Nearpod Library. When I come here, I'm gonna just click on assessment, and it's gonna give me anything that's part of assessments. If you notice, it gives me assessments up here. Now, I don't wanna go through every single one of them because it gives me all the grade levels here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back down here, and let's say I'm gonna do first, second, or let's say 8th grade. And it's gonna bring it down and it's gonna reduce it to that. You see, and it gives you all the little different ones. These are already pre-made. You can always go in there and you can always modify whatever you have. For example, let me go ahead and take off 8th grade. I'm gonna do kinder and first. Let's say I wanna do an assessment for adjectives. I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. And it's gonna show me a preview of what it looks like. Now, if you want to do adjectives and you want some other ones, it gives you other options over here on this side. It gives you the prepositions. It gives you a lot of other options for assessments as well. But we can go ahead and do a preview on this. This is all about this exit ticket. This is actually an exit ticket. So you're going to go ahead and get started. This is what the students actually see, and it gives them little directions on this. Let's take a quiz, and it says circle the adjective in the sentence below. Look at the cute cat. So the kids can always go in here and just kind of circle and do something really quickly on this. So let's say I really like what this assessment does. So right here at the bottom, you can either share the preview, you can add it to the district library, or you can add to the library. If you notice, I click add to my library and it was added to my library. So I'm gonna click again here in the green one and it's gonna show in my library. So that means it's going to take me back into where the first part you were going to see. Well, this one didn't show me back in my little home. Let me go back over here. Once I add it, here is the one that I just recently added. So what I'm going to do, I want to edit this because not everything that is in there I want. You're going to edit this lesson. You can make a duplicate for it as well. So you can either make you can either get a duplicate on it, so that way you can keep the original one, especially if you're having different classes. You might want different options for different kiddos. So you might want to duplicate it and just kind of name it to that particular class that you have. Or else when you do run the report, you're going to have all the name of the students within one single report instead of separated by classes. So let's say you don't want this one, so you just kind of highlight it. You click on delete slide. Let's say you don't want this particular one. You're going to click delete slide. And then you just kind of go down through the bottom one and see what exactly, which ones you want, which ones you don't want. Once you're done, you're going to go ahead and click on save. And once you're here, you can go ahead and you have two options to run this. You click on live lesson and you have a student page. The live lessons are usually when you're doing it either a face-to-face or those one-to-one devices that you have, or you can have the student page. When you click on student page here, it gives you a code here. It requires the students to submit, so you click it on. You can have it here as open as long as you want. If you click on the calendar, it gives you more options to have it open longer. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can also view the progress. You're going to click apply. Here it gives you the option either to email the link, to do to put it on Facebook, on Twitter. You can just get the link for itself. You can embed it onto a Google Slides. You can do the Google Classroom. You can do it through a Remind or the Teams. So we're going to go ahead and go into Google Classroom. We're going to click on Google Classroom. I'm going to go ahead and pick my class. What action? I'm going to go ahead and create it as an assignment. And I'm going to click go. And this one I am going to name it Nearpod 2. Here it even gives you the pin code. So the students don't need to know the code right here because it's already embedded over here. You pick the students that you're going to assign it to. If you have a topic, you can go ahead and get the topic, or you can create one, which this is Nearpod assignments. So I'm going to click on assign. And we're going to go ahead and exit out. I'm going to go over here to see my Google Classroom. And if you can see here, oh, why? I'm going to go to all topics. And here it gives me the Nearpod that I just created. I click here. The moment that the students click here, it's going to take them directly to this screen right here. If you notice up here, it gives you the pin already. So the moment they click into this, they already have their name here. They can put in, let's say they're doing, you know, you have your kids in blocks. You can put block 1, block 2. You can put their ID number in here. And once they're done, they're going to go ahead and click the session. And it automatically transfers over to the next one. Here, once they're here, they can see the directions. They can take it. They're going to take the quiz. So you get the pencil. They get to write on it. So whatever they're doing, they write. And once they do, they can submit. They're going to do the same thing. They can come down here and they can add some text message. They can add some text. They can add a picture. They can erase. They can highlight. So let's say they want to highlight. They can just highlight it and then just submit their questions and so on and so forth. Once they're done, they're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and go all the way. Oh, you see on this one, it tells me, oops, you left it blank. So they cannot advance unless they answer this specific slide. So I'm just going to go ahead and do just some lines so we can get all the way to the end. If you notice, I am not submitting. We're going to go ahead and check to see what happens if they don't submit.
Very cute.
And so they are done. We go here. Now they continue with the poll. I think this is going to be a little long for us. So let me see. Okay, that is gone. Okay, that was the last question. So now I'm going to go back into my assessments here. I'm going to go back into my library. Now I want to see exactly where those kiddos stand. I'm going to go scroll down on my Nearpod, and right down here, it gives me reports. On my reports, it gives me everything that I've had before, and then it shows me my exit ticket right here. As you can see, only one student has submitted, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And it gives me how many answers, how many skipped, which I didn't give them actually an option to skip it. I can go ahead and download my report. I can either put it on a Google Drive or to my local drive. I'm going to go ahead and save my report. And you always have access to this particular report. As you can see, this is the student's name. And right here, it'll give me, even though I just did a line on it, it did record it without me doing submit on it. So it is recording everything that I have there. Okay, so the students don't really necessarily have to submit there. So once they're doing, all they have to do is click on the link, do their work, and go to the next one. Just go to the next one without having to click submit. So that's pretty neat. So you already have those reports here. Okay, so we can go ahead and go back. Again, like the way you go ahead and get those reports, what you do on those reports, you kind of go here into the dashboard for Nearpod. You scroll all the way down and you click on reports. Okay. In order for you to look for those assessments, you click on the same dashboard. You click on Nearpod library, and you can do your assessments here. Just look for assessments. You can pick for the subject that you want, the grade level, and things like that. I've noticed that sometimes if you click on the standards, since they're still building their library, it doesn't give you a lot of options. So I rather just click on the grade level, and it gives you a little bit more more options here. And I know that some of these are just from kinder and up, but if you do the kinder one for my pre-K and pre-K3, pre-K4 teachers, if you do the kinder ones, you can always go back in there and delete the things that you don't need. Now, if you want to create your own and put everything that you need for that particular skill, you can go ahead and click on the create. It gives you the option to create it in Nearpod, or you can do a Google slide. And this is new because this is a video. I haven't tried this one out, so I'm going to have to get back to you on this one. This one, they just brought it up. On the presentation here, if you already have something that's made on PowerPoint, all you really have to do is kind of move it around until you can see your presentation. Even at that, even if you have a PDF, all you have to do is grab it, bring it in, let it go, and you can either create a viewer or individual slides. I'm going to put individual slides just so you can see exactly what it does. Once it's ready, the status is good, there's a check mark and you click OK. It's going to process a little bit. It's going to take a little time. Now, if I go in here into my actual PDF, if you notice, it has 6 pages here. Let me go back in here. Now, if you notice, it separated every single one of them. So let's say I want this one to come, I want the kids to go ahead and write on it. All I have to do is click on the slide that I want, and I'm going to click on Convert to Draw. It says, you're about to create a drive from this slide. Do you want to continue? I'm going to click Yes. What it does, it duplicates. It keeps the original one, and it gives you the other one. So let's say you want to keep the original one, and you want to leave it like that, or you can just go ahead and go in there, delete the original one, and you're going to have it as a drive. When you double click on this one, it opens it up. Here you can actually write the instructions on what they need to do. Here, as a little image here, you can either insert a video, giving them instructions. You can add audio so that you can go ahead and read the instructions. You can add a web content. You can record your own audio here. So it depends on what you want here. Also, you can add a timer so that way they don't take too long in, finishing up this particular assignment that you have. Once you do all of that, you can go ahead and click here, Save. And you get to do the same thing with the other one. If you want to go ahead and convert it, it says, do you want to keep the original slide? You just click No. If you're only going to click Yes if you want to keep the original one. You click No if you want to just convert it and not keep the original one. So all you're going to have to do is do that. It doesn't allow you to do multiple, so you have to do, this is the bad thing about it, is that you do have to do one at a time. This is really neat, especially if you have PDF files of math and you need the students to actually go in there and do formulas and things like that, so they can actually show their work based on what you have. And this is all through Nearpod as well. Once you're done, you can go ahead and click on, let me go ahead and give it a title. I'm going to do quiz 2. I'm going to save it. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and wait on that for a little bit. I'm going to show you something else here. Now, the Draw It is not the only option you have for formative assessments. Once you click on Add Slide, it gives you different options here as well. You can have the students view a video or review vocabulary, and then you can give them an activity here. The time to climb is something similar to a Kahoot. You can ask them an open-ended question. You can do the pairing, which are the cards for the pairing. You can do a quiz. You can add a flip grid, and you can add all of these other ones that you have. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a matching pair. On the matching pair, it gives you the option. When you click on Add a Pair, you can add an image, and you can add a text. You can put here letter A. You can add an image, and you can put apple. We're going to search it. We're going to click on an apple. We're going to save. So here you already have 2 things. We're going to go ahead and add another pair. So that here you're going to add You can either add the image and you can do it the other way around. Once you do that, it's gonna have your pairs here. Once you're done, we can go ahead and click on save. Oh, we need to include at least 2. We're gonna add an image. We're gonna add a picture of a boy. Click done. We're gonna click save. Okay, this is another way you can actually check for understanding on the matching pairs as well. You can add another slide. We can do activities. We can take a quiz. Once you do the quiz, you get to answer your questions just like everything else. You add your media. You can add either a video, an audio, or your instructions. You can type your question here, and all you do is check off the ones that you have. You can check off the ones that are correct. If you have multiple questions, if you have a question that has multiple answers, all you have to do is just kind of go back over here and check off the ones that are correct. And once you do, and if you want to add more, just click here and you add more answers to your questions here. So now I'm going to go ahead and cancel this one. I'm going to add another one so that way you can see the difference on these. You can, we already tried the draw it. You can also do a poll. You can fill in the blank as well. The fill in the blank, it gives you the style that you want here. All it does is change it. Once you're here, you're going to type in, what did you learn today? You can ask different questions here. We're going to go ahead and click next. So here you're going to go ahead and you're going to do you're going to click on words on the right. So I'm going to put learn what, and we're just going to keep it like that. And of course, you're not going to add the what did you learn today. So that's where you end up doing like a whole little, presentation or anything like that, or a question that you want them to answer specific, fill in the blanks and things like that. And you get the fill in the blanks here at the bottom. If you do an add, you go to the activities, you do a memory test, the flip grids and everything. We're going to go ahead and cover flip grid in a bit. On the flip grid, it gives you the option for the students to record what they've learned. Here you get to insert the teacher's URL, and then you get to insert the student's URL. So the teacher URL, that's where you're asking the question, and for the students, that's where they're going to click, and they're going to go ahead and submit their videos through there. Okay, once we're done, we're gonna go ahead and click on save. And you are ready to assign. Okay, this is the one that I just did. If you notice, it's quiz 2. You can either do it as a live lesson or a student page. Once you do that, we can go ahead and just do that, and put it into your Google Classroom. Do we have any questions on your pod so far? Is everyone okay?
No, I don't think we see any questions so far. I've answered the ones about Google Slide and other time to climb, which is only during live. But if you briefly want to go over Wakelet and Flipgrid.
Yes, let me go ahead and go over that. Okay, these are going to be other resources that we have available. Okay, we don't only have like the ones that we mentioned before. These are other options that we have as well. We have Wakelet and we have Flipgrid. Here, I also gave you some other resources. When you click on this one, it gives you a little like a little s'more on actually, this is not the s'more. This is a blog that they have for Wakelet. And then here, this is the s'more that gives you a lot of other different options on doing formative assessments using technology. Here we have the top tech tools for formative assessments. It gives you other options as well. Here it gives you the Flubaroo versus quizzes on Google Forms and how to use Google Forms, Sheets, and Flubaroo. So it gives you a lot of little options here so that way you can just kind of go in there and see the videos, so that way you can have a more idea on how to use these tools within your classroom. With Wakelet, once you're here, it gives you here the assessments. If I go into the assessments here, it gives you an idea of how to use Wakelet so that way you can use it as a formative assessment. It gives you a lot of little, a combination of either, blogs or websites and things like that. What Wakelet is just an organization platform that organizes everything that you have. For example, this is my Wakelet right here, and I have my parent resources. This is my collection here. So once I click here, I get to fix it to whatever I need. I can share this with my parents, and they're gonna have access to this. So all they do is go on, like, for example, they want to learn a little bit more about this, they get to click on the video. They want to learn, it's something like a Symbaloo, just kind of formatted a little bit different. And it has it in Spanish, it has it in everything. So let's say you have everything right here, you have it in English. What I like about Wakelet is that if you click on the little icon here at the bottom, on the side to it, I'm sorry, you get to hear it.
How to resources for parents.
So now let's say they want it at a different particular language. You can change that as well. The reading preference, it gives you here. You can translate it into an English or Spanish version, depending on how you have it. You can turn on the picture dictionary as well. So if I kind of click on parents, it gives me images of what it is. This is a parent. The mom is right here. This is a parent. I don't know exactly how they get their images or their dictionary, but let's say I don't know how to read this particular word. I just click on it and it reads it for me. So this is pretty neat for students as well, because sometimes they get a little embarrassed that they don't know exactly how to read a particular word. But once they click on it,
resources,
it reads it for them. So you can go ahead and go back, and it takes you directly back to this. I'm going to go ahead and go back into my Wakelet. I'm going to go ahead and create one so that way you guys can see exactly how to work a Wakelet collection. Here, once you're here, it gives you the option to do a cover page. You get to do a title here and a little description about what your Wakelet is about. Especially if you're doing themes and things like that, it allows you to do this. Once you click on here on the little plus sign, it gives you an option to do the URL, the text, the YouTubes, tweets, bookmarks, images. They get to upload PDFs, Google Drive, OneDrive, and of course your Flipgrid video. So this gives you the option to do a combination of everything that your students get to practice or get to read, or anything that has to do with that particular skill. And at the end, they can actually do a Flipgrid, and from there, everything that's already part of there, and they can go back and review at any moment in time, they're able to go ahead and review, and at the end, do a video based on what they've learned based on this Wakelet that they have here. And that's another way to do the formative assessments. I'm not going to go too much into this because I know that our time is running out. I do want to go ahead and cover Flipgrid real quickly. Because what I wanted you guys to see on Flipgrid is that this is something that I've been working with, and I've been wanting to see if it's going to work. I know that they have a lot of times that they want our students to create their journals, and I know that it's a little bit difficult for them to do journals, or for us to keep track of the journals that they're doing, especially since they're written. So now what you can do, you can actually do a video journal. That way you can keep track of either you can do it a weekly journal, or you can do it a daily journal, depending on what you want to do. For example, here I did two journal entries, and you can see this is my video journal. Right here is the video, the vid journal grid that I created here. Now, if I want to go ahead and view it, I'm going to click here, view, and this is what my students see. Once I have it here, you see right here, it says all about the letter A, and it also gives you the option for them to have it read for them. Okay.
Topic. All about the letter A. Instructions. Record yourself telling me 5 things that begin with the letter A.
So they get to see it and they get to hear it. So for those students that don't know exactly what their expectations are, they get to hear the instructions here. Or you can actually create a little video.
Our weekly video journal is all about the letter A. Record yourself telling me 5 things that begin with the letter A.
So not only were you able to do for them to hear the instructions, but you can also do a video for them, you know, saying, okay, this is the letter A, this is how you write it. Now you're going to think about 5 things that begin with the letter A, and you're going to record yourself. So those are the topics. So what they do, this is what the students see. This is what the instructions are. Now what the students do is they click on this big, huge plus sign. Once they do that, they get to sign in. I'm going to go ahead and sign in real quickly with their Google account. And they either get to record, they get either to record what they have there. You can have filters on it, so it gives them a little chance to play around with it. They can do text. They can do emojis. They can put them anywhere they want. They can do paint, so they can actually draw something. They can fill in the background, so that way they can just do whatever they need to draw with. And they can add custom stickers to it and stuff like that, which means they bring in whatever clip images they have or clip art that they have and stuff like that. Here they can show the topic. So let's say, okay, I forgot what it's all about. I don't know what I'm supposed to be recording. So all they do is click on this one, and they get to see what their topic is about. Oh, okay, I remember now. I have to do something about the letter A. So we can go ahead and just click it back, and then they get to record themselves. Now they have different video options here. You have to add a video clip, you have an audio, and you have a screen recording, especially for teachers. This is really neat, especially when you're going to show the students how to do something. Okay, we're gonna return. They can go ahead and just record themselves. They don't have a lot of time to record themselves, so this is pretty neat. Once they start recording themselves, they have a little bit of time. They can record themselves really quickly. We can go ahead and stop it. We go to next. So this is pretty neat. Once they start recording themselves, they have a little bit of time. They can record themselves. So they can add more to what they've recorded. And then we can go ahead and click next. They get to take a selfie, or for me that I just do like a little emoji. And then I'm gonna go ahead and once I do that, I just record it, click next. And the students get to put their names here. And then they can do daily journal, letter A, or they can just put the letter A and click submit. They can download the QR code, they can download their video, or they can download the selfie. So once it is done, they click complete. And if you notice on the teacher side, they're gonna see the journal right here on the side. So once the students start creating all of this stuff, they start putting it all through here. Like all the students' names and everything is going to be coming in through here. In order for you to do a Flipgrid, let me go back into my Flipgrid here. I'm going to go into once you sign in, this is what you're going to get. So in order for you to continue adding different Flipgrids, and let's say you want to continue within this particular one, you can click on this one. You're going to add a new topic. This is where you're going to add your information. You can do a prompt. You can add a question here or some information that you want the students to do. You can tell them exactly how long you want their videos to end to record. Imagine, just remember, the longer the video, the more time they have to gear off their particular question. So you want them just to cut it straight into the point, so you give them less time. Okay, but by default it is 1 minute and 30 seconds. You want to do the video moderation, which means it's not going to post unless you agree that it's going to be submitted and this is what you want them to post. You get to do the focus, which is optional. You don't have to do it. This is where you get to record a video. This is the little video that you saw on the side. I recorded myself telling them exactly what the instructions are and how I want them to do it and what I want them to do. And then I can either do that, or I can upload a video, or I can show them a YouTube and things like that. So you have different options here. You can do a Kahoot as well. And then once you're done, you can do more options. You can do on the topic tip. It says you can add a tip for your students to help best answer the topic. You can put here, for example, remember, you need to make sure that you answer the topic based on so-and-so. You know, you can attach things here.
Lily,
Yes.
just a reminder of the time. It's 11:25.
Okay, thank you so much. So you have the options here to do a lot of other stuff. Once you're done, you can go ahead and click on create your topic. Okay, I have to fill out every single topic, every single thing that's in here. So I'm not going to go ahead and do this for you. Well, you know what? Hold on. Let me go ahead and create my topic. Let me see if it gives me the option. So now, once I create it, it gives me this. Once it gives me this, this particular code, this is what the students are going to use. But I really want to, you can, this especially when you want to share it via like anything else besides what you have here. So once you copy it, or you can do the QR code, and this is especially awesome, especially if you're going to use them in your classroom. But if you're going to share it into your Google Classroom, again, you just click on the little icon. You're going to click on Formative Assessments. You're going to just create your assignment. You're going to go, and of course, you're going to do the everything else. You know, who you're going to address it to and everything. And I'm going to click Assign. And you're going to go ahead and close it. And of course, it's going to show up in your, Google Classroom here. Okay. So that's all the students have to do. Once they're here and they click here and they click on that, like I said, it's going to give them directly into the specific one that they have here. Okay, let me go ahead and, do we have any questions based on this? No? Okay. Now, those are some other options that you have. Any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to us at any time. Okay, for everyone to go ahead and so we can get your emails and things like that, and we can forward any of the information that we have for you guys. Go ahead and click here, and it's going to take you into a form that is going to ask you for your email, your position, and go ahead and put in your grade level, the subject area that you have. Kind of fill out this form for us, and that way we can go ahead and provide you with any other information that you guys might have. If you have any questions, this is our email. Like I said, my name is Lily Gutierrez. Carmen was my facilitator for this morning, and your code to go in was, let me see, let me go back up here. This is the code that you have for your remote sign-in. Make sure that you do log it in order for you guys to get credit for this.
Thank you, everyone.
Does anybody have any questions? Do y'all need any information based on the slides? Were you able to provide? Okay, everybody got the slides?
Yes, I was able to share the presentation again, the remote code, answer a few questions.
Okay, the remote, the feedback form is towards the end. And that way you guys can go ahead and just click in there and fill out that information, so that way we can go ahead and send you guys the oh my gosh, I lost track of time. I lost track, like what I was gonna say. That way we guys can send you the recording. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I greatly appreciate taking time, and joining us. And thank you so much again. You guys have a wonderful day today.